our channel. It's
Dre
and Bre, and you're watching Worth the Wait. And today, this is our number 2 episode
in the series.
Yes, and what is this one called? This is having expectations or list when dating.
You love me like no, you love me like oh, oh, oh. You love me like yeah, you love me like no, you love me like oh, oh, oh. You love me like yeah.
So let's explain what lists are first.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
So list is basically if I'm dating, it's a list of things I'm looking for in the person that I'm going to choose to be with. So you can start. Let's first talk about what your list was when dating before, you know, amazing me came into your life.
My list, see, this is where
Uh-oh, I'm scared.
this, and I'm not proud of this, but we're on this. We're completely honest.
You had a lot of physical traits.
No.
Okay.
That's not what I was about to say.
Okay.
But we're completely honest on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like for a guy thing, and I feel like girls do it in some type of way. Like I have people close to me be like, "Oh, your list is like this. Your list is that. You want this. You want that." Now I feel like that everybody categorizes their list, right? Because people are like, "Oh, this is a list of the type of people that I would actually want to marry. So this is like what I would want out of somebody I would want to marry." But it's like, oh, if I'm just dating this person, it's fun.
Oh,
then
Lord.
I have these type of things. And then it's like, oh, if I'm just messing around with somebody, you know, then
So
it's
you
like
had
this
multiple
is
lists?
I'm just saying that the standard for at the time, the standard for the girl who I was going to marry was like
Give us that list.
that list.
That list.
Okay, so
Not your thought list. Your want to be my wife list.
never had that. So, seeing as this is my second girlfriend in my life, some people say I have high standards. The last one didn't last past 3 months, so seeing that this, yeah. So my standards, I don't think they weren't crazy. My list is, I wanted a God-fearing woman, so a woman that believed in God, because that's ultimately how I would live my life and what the foundation of my life and relationship would be. So my woman got to be on the same page of what I'm doing. I wanted somebody with a good heart, so I wanted somebody who was just pure intentions in the inside, and Bre definitely was that. Even with earlier, like financially, how she was with stuff, or some of her mindsets with stuff. I feel like she would park in a handicapped spot if she saw a handicapped person about to park in it, just so she had to walk. But I still think she.
I would not do something like that.
We can take that out.
Keep going.
All right, but nah, just somebody with a good heart, pure intentions, good heart. I have to be, and we could talk about this later in the video, I have to be attracted to you. Of course, beauty, attraction is all subjective. It's really off of what you personally like and how you personally view things, but I had to be attracted to whoever I'm with, and people will say I have high standards when it comes to that, but I don't think so.
Let's hear it. What was your physical list?
Can I finish my list?
Yeah.
And then that's really, of course, the regular relationship stuff. You want somebody trusting and loyal and communicates well. And I just wanted somebody also with a sense of humor, somebody I can have a good time with.
That's why you love me.
My list is really simple for somebody I wanted to marry, but finding that combination is not as easy as it sounds. And then it has to be in the right timing too, right? That's big about finding that person. It's like it has to all happen in the right time, because you can have something wrapped or something that presented to you at a certain time, but if you're not in the space or the mindset to actually accept what is presented to you or given to you, then you might not be able to take full advantage of it.
So back to these physical traits. What was your physical list?
Curly hair, a little brown skin, prefer girls from Cleveland,
You're so annoying.
What? I'm being honest. Girls from Cleveland, like, really did it for me. But they had to dance for the Cavs at some point. If your name started with A, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, that had to start with a B. And your middle name had to be Mary, so.
I'm gonna cut all of this.
Middle name had to be Mary, so at the end of the day, I could say that I pretty much hit the nail on the head with my type.
Okay, are you done with your list?
Yeah, my list is pretty simple.
Okay, so my list, when dating, was like he had mentioned all of the like trustworthy, good communication, honest, good heart, all of that. But I think my, like, which I'm not proud of this, but I think a lot of my list had to do with like the man, like being successful and having like a good foundation to basically like treat me right and basically give me the lifestyle that I wanted. Not that I wanted to be like a stay-at-home mom or anything, but it's like obviously when you go out looking for somebody, you're not like, oh, I want to get somebody who, you know, works at McDonald's and has 3 kids. It's like, I said I had 3 kids. But no, my list was really more about like the time too that was spent. So basically someone who I could like laugh with, be myself with, because I'm a complete dork and weirdo. So I needed somebody who like I could do that with and it wouldn't be an issue, because I can be very annoying if you don't like that. So yeah, I would say a lot of times reasons why I dismissed guys was because they didn't meet like a height requirement or a body type or a look, which is not something I'm proud of, but you know, we're all attracted to the things that we're attracted to naturally. So I think that one thing that we have to learn to do is really look at what our list is and our expectations, and understand that just because it looks this way to you, if someone comes, even like he said, they're not wrapped in the package that you're imagining, you have no idea what's under that package, and you may open your mind to other options once getting to know somebody. So basically like keeping an open mind.
How you feel about lists?
So how you feel about lists is one thing we want to talk about.
This is a question I do not have an answer for, but I feel like it's one of the most interesting, most mind-boggling things to me that I still, to this day, do not really know the answer for, because it's very hard. So I definitely want to hear what people have to say. What are your thoughts? Like, share it with other people, and please let me know. So this is what it is. I've talked to a lot of different women. I've talked to, mainly it's a lot of times women, guys sometimes too. But when you have somebody who is doing everything for you, perfect person, like say it's a woman and a guy, it's like he treats you right. Like he treats you like a lady. He's financially stable. He leads in a relationship. He, like, everything about him is anything you ever wanted. But you're not physically attracted to him.
That sucks.
What is the answer? Because it's like 90% is good, but 10% is
like
missing.
Like the 80-20 rule.
And it's like, it doesn't, that person may not even turn you on. And when you look at them, you don't want to like jump on them and just like be like, yeah, I want you.
Yeah.
So what do you do in that situation? Because attraction is huge. And if you find yourself like looking at other people or wanting to do stuff with other people just because you're not attracted to who you're with, even though they have everything else, it's like, at that point, do you work through the attraction or try to work through it or try to fight through it? Or does the attraction, is it like a thing to where it's like, no, you have to be attracted? There's somebody who does all that and you're still attracted to? Or, which I don't agree, some people just say, oh, just cheat.
Yeah, and it seems like girls don't like nice guys. It's like we say we want these things, and then someone comes along and they do that, and then it's like, and I know you guys know because it's like multiple. scenarios where that happens. Even with guys, it's like they finally find this girl that's doing everything right, but they find some reason to like not be with her. And I think it comes all back to timing and the fact that, you know, people are supposed to be in your life for a reason and for a season. And if in your season that you're in, you're not supposed to be with someone, and you have things that you have to go through or things that you have to learn before taking that step, then it's like somebody who's doing everything for you may not look as attractive or may not seem like the answer just because the timing is wrong. So I don't know. It's very interesting.
It's hard. It's a hard thing to deal with, for sure.
Make sure you guys
Please
tell us your
comment.
comments. What are your thoughts on lists and expectations?
Discuss.
So expectations in dating. So basically, as women, right, we expect for certain things to be done. Like for me, I expect for my door to be opened. I expect for the man to what?
Did you?
You know what?
At first she didn't. She like, why he so extra opening my door?
No. Okay, so let me, society messed me up and my expectations, because I dealt with so many guys who didn't do things like that. So it was like, I don't think that that is the norm anymore. I don't think that it's a thing that I'm capable of having. Thank you for not being the norm. But I would say now, like, I expect these things. But if I expected that and Dre did not do those things, I would have to communicate with him and say, hey, you know, I really like you. I have a great time with you, but I do want to just let you know, like, I really expect certain things from you if we're going to continue dating. I really like, you know, the gentleman thing. I like my doors to be opened. I like if we're crossing the street for you to hold my hand, or if I have a heavy bag for you to hold it. Because what we do as women is we give guys more credit than they deserve. Like, we think like they know these things, and it's like if they've dealt with woman after woman after woman after woman who did not expect any of that, you can't assume that he can just read your mind. So it's different when you say like, you know, he's cool, but he doesn't do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, did you tell him that you wanted him to do those things? So I think it's first making sure that when you're on that first date, that second date, that third date, making sure that your expectations are very clear as far as like what you want moving forward, and just your expectations. Because again, like I said, they can't read your mind, and that goes for guys as well. I think that that's a reason why, you know, Dre and I, before we started dating, like, we had to tell each other like, hey, just so you know, I'm waiting for marriage. So, but otherwise we could have been dating for a couple months, and he or I could have been waiting, like, yeah, you know, talking to our friends like, I don't know what's going on, we haven't done it yet. And then you're like, why aren't we having sex? And the other person's like, well, I was waiting for marriage. It's like, did you feel like you had to say that to me? So communication is key. And I mean, it may not be something that big or that major, but small things definitely add up. And when we hold things in, and, you know, it could just be like, this person has so much potential and could have been a great partner for you, but because you failed to communicate your expectations, now it just didn't work out because you expected him to know these things that you were thinking in your head. So I think it's super important to communicate.
Definitely. And I understand the struggle with that, right? Because it's always like you want it to just be a lot of things that happen, especially with women. I know when it comes to guys, a lot of things that happen or that you want, you just want somebody to just do them. You don't want to feel like you have to ask. Like, I shouldn't have to ask you to hold my door open. Or I shouldn't have to ask you to grab a check before going out to dinner. I shouldn't have to ask you to carry my bag if you see I'm struggling with it. And it's like, that's difficult, because some things, like for me, I always look and I'm like, dang, why didn't he hold the door for her? Or like, yo, walk on the other side of the street, on the street where the cars are. Like, for me, it's just like, as a guy, that's just what you're supposed to do, but that's the way I was brought up. And every guy isn't brought up like that. But the main thing, pigging back off of what Bre said, is that you need to talk about your expectations. And to take it another step further, listen to people when they're talking about their expectations. Don't try to ignore, don't throw out some things don't try to act like you didn't hear some things and that you heard others just because the person looked good and they cute, or they got money or something like that. It's like, people will tell you who they are. And it's important that you talk about those things in the beginning, because at the end of the day, no one wants to waste their time.
And for women, I feel like we always are so excited when you think you meet a guy that has like potential and you're like, oh, he just doesn't know what love is, or he's dealt with bad relationships and I'm gonna be the one to change him and fix him. And at the end of the day, you can't fix or change a grown man. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So unless that person wants to change, there's nothing that you can do. Which brings us to our next point, which is women wanting to be wives, but not acting the part. So basically, like for instance, the way that I act now and the way that I act before I met Dre was two totally different things. Before I was kicking it, I was doing things, I was living it up, whatever we think that is in that time, whether it's going to the clubs, dating multiple people, hanging out late and getting drunk, or whatever the case is. It's like, obviously it's clear that I was not looking for a serious partner, or it was thinking of marriage or my future. It was like, I'm just kicking it, I'm just enjoying life. So we say all the time like, oh, I just want to find a husband, or I just want to be with someone who I can spend the rest of my life with, but then your actions don't match that. And we're going to list a video that you guys need to watch. It's a great video. Go ahead.
It's by Pastor Rich Wilkerson Jr. He was the pastor that actually married Kanye and Kim.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Kardashian, yep. But when you're looking at somebody and you're looking for that person you want to spend the rest of your life with, ask yourself, if it's saying I'm a guy, I'm dating a girl, if my daughter turned out just like my wife, would I be happy? Mm-hmm. Ask yourself, if my son turned out just like this man, just like him, not looks like him, turned out the person that he was. Because you'll get caught up in the looks and be like, oh, I want to be this person, he's so sexy. Mm. If your son turned out to be the same person that guy is, would you still...
We would dodge so many bullets.
Would you still be with that person? Because ultimately, that's going to be the person raising your child, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's one question that I'm just like, that will deter you from a lot of people.
You know how much time I would have saved?
You would have been like, do I want my son to be, I want my daughter to, One of the biggest rules of dating and expectations, very cliche, you are what you attract. If you sitting there and you, I don't know, in the club, shaking your booty every day, like Monday through Friday, you out, and you like, I can't find no good man.
Where you at?
Don't no good man ever find me. It's because you in the club. He may got changed something. And it's not saying that the club is bad or nothing like that, but it's just saying that you can't.
You are what you attract.
You are what you attract.
So it's like, if you have this list, but you are not the equivalent to that list, what makes you think that somebody with those qualities are going to be attracted to you? So again, it's about timing. It's about being like, you know what, right now is the time for me to just live my life and have fun. I'm not at the point where I want to be with somebody. I'm just gonna live life and then do that. But the problem is when people dibble and dabble and they say like, you know what, I just want to live right now, but I'm gonna have this shawty on the side. And then you're cheating on shawty, and shawty get her heart broken. Now she moves on to the next person, and because of this guy doing this and that, now she has trust issues. And it's a never-ending cycle. So if you already understand that when it comes to dating, you have to stop and just be like, woo, let me look at myself. Does this list make sense? And if somebody were to make a list about me, what would it say? What would it say? And then you'll know exactly what the problem is. And maybe the problem is not you right now. Maybe it's timing, and maybe you just need to do this and do that. And then when the timing is right, you right on. I thought you was gonna like tilt your head because you tilted with me that way. Make that duo list. The things you want and expect, and the things that you as a person have to offer, so that you can make sure it makes sense. It should be an even trade.
But moral of the story when it comes to expectations and dating is talk about them
early on.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah. Be slower to be physical with someone, because that definitely clouds your judgment. Not saying you have to wait for marriage like we are, but you know when too soon is too soon. And it's like, take time and see if that's worth investing, because that is it's our body, and you don't want to just give that to anybody. So really be cautious with who you invest in.
And remember, what I want my child to be like them. Boom.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching our episode 2, Expectations and Having a List While Dating. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at Brianna Ponte, at Worth the Wait, at It's Dre Smith. And if you want to follow our business as well, at All About It LLC.